Right before I went to bed last night, I said to myself, I just want to remember the magic. I just want to live in a feeling of wonder and awe. And my next question was, how the heck am I going to pull this off in this crazy three-dimensional world? That is what we are going to be talking about today. Welcome to Infinite You. I'm Dr. Sheri, multidimensional mindset mentor, spiritual psychologist, soul-led success coach, and intuitive empowerment guide. And I am here to help you remember who you are, align with the frequency of your soul, create an identity around that frequency, those thoughts and beliefs that you get to hold, that you get to carry, that you get to decide, that really bring you into a place of manifesting your most amazing life and business. And it's really all about energy and alignment if you are in it for the long haul, and definitely a whole lot of faith. So welcome, welcome. If this message resonates with you, definitely hit subscribe, hit like, hit that notification bell, and then you will be notified of when I put out my next video, usually every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday. So definitely let's get into this topic. I definitely, like I said, went to bed last night just really wanting to lean into the magic of the quantum field, of the essence of my soul, of my frequency, of God, of God's mind. Because I just cannot believe how many of us are in that space of satisfying our basic needs. And I talked about this the other day in a video with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I kind of put them with analogous to each of our lower grounded chakras. So the root chakra, and that is all about the psychological need of having our basic needs met. Our sacral chakra, which is really about connecting, having our emotional needs met, and creating, and everything creative. And then of course our solar plexus chakra, which is really all about self-esteem and feeling good about who we are. So I'm definitely coming from that space, and I keep asking myself the question, why do so many of us stay in that space? Are we worried about lack? Are we worried about a place to live? Are we worried about or thinking about or overthinking about, feeling connected to someone else, feeling worthy? What the heck are we doing, spending a lot of our time in these lower chakras? Why are we not moving up into that space of, self-realization, self-actualization? And I definitely talk about this. I have a framework that I created called the Quantum Alignment System. And it really is all about connecting with your frequency, the essence of who you are at the soul level, definitely God as well, if that is your jam. So you can have clarity about who you are, really who you are, not what you've been told, not how you've been programmed, but the essence of who you are. That fundamentally should be the identity that you get to create, that you get to evolve, that you get to decide and grow with. So clarity is really this kind of like overarching sea of like, clear about who you are, clear about who you are not, clear about what you want, clear about what you do not want, and clear about all of the old programs that are keeping you stuck, held back, and in a belief system that is not about you at all. Why does this matter? It matters because this is where we get our purpose. This is where we derive meaning. This is where we feel fulfilled in our lives. And definitely this alignment keeps us in a higher frequency. So then that way we attract more of what we want. We're attracting and manifesting all the time anyway. Why not feel really good doing it? Why not feel empowered? Why not live in a happy, joyful frequency? So connecting, so you can get very clear, so you can confidently create, so you can take aligned action and conjure what the heck it is you want to see in your physical reality. How can I make it a little bit more simple than that? I think it really is about being at the soul level, thinking in your subconscious, believing in your subconscious, and definitely doing and taking aligned action in your physical reality. So that is really how all of this works. Sorry, I've got a piece of hair in my mouth. Sorry about that. Whatever, I'm such a weirdo. Anyway, I don't want to lose sight of where I'm going with this. So, meaning matters to humans. Purpose matters to humans. Serving matters to humans. Expanding our consciousness, our own individual consciousness, and then who we are collectively as a human race really matters. Every time we are intentional, every time we lean into the bigger purpose of who we are, of the frequency of joy, of aligning with God or God's mind or faith or the universe, whatever you would like to call it, you are raising your frequency. You are shifting your consciousness and the collective consciousness. This is how you attract more of what you want. So remember, it is about being, it is about getting very clear on what you are thinking. Do you need heavy duty psychoanalysis? Do you need to dissect every thought? No, and I almost made a video about this today because I think we like thinking. We think in a way that men do not think. I think that men think of the bigger picture, and I think women, we are designed to think of the details. So it definitely serves a purpose. It's an amazing thing to be aware and conscious of all of the details. That's what makes, I think, that balance between men and women so powerful and freaking amazing, where men are thinking of the big picture and women are thinking of like, I got your back. I'm going to take care of, X, Y, and Z while you're looking at, point A to point B. It's an amazing thing. I think also too, we women, we exercise our corpus callosum and communicate with the left hand and right hand side of our brains like in a much different way than men do. And we definitely are leaning into more of that feminine intuitive energy. So when I think about the micro thinking and I think about the feeling part of our intuition and the left and right hand side of our brains communicating, it is such a beautiful gift, but it definitely can send us down rabbit holes and put us in squirrel cages where we're pondering everything all the time. What did she mean by that? What is that body language about? What is that body language about? Should I have said this? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing, so we can easily get into a space of overwhelm, overthinking, micromanaging every little single detail. It matters to get away from that for a couple of reasons. I think it sends you in a lower frequency for sure, so you become less attractive. It doesn't feel good anyway. You end up getting into that monkey mind space. And when you get into that space of more and more entropy, you're moving farther and farther away from the essence of who you are. And I think I had one last thing to say about it. When you're not in that stillness, you're missing the magic. You're missing the bigger picture of taking it down a notch and remembering your purpose, the meaning behind why you're here, your life, really feeling fulfilled. And I think it definitely can block you from really stepping into your infinite potential in a really cool way. So I asked the universe, I asked God last night, like, please, please, please remind me of the magic. And the weirdest thing happened to me today. I got in my car and my phone told me, you can't get in your phone. You need to unlock it. And I said, well, I didn't even want to get in the phone, so I don't need to unlock it. And so I put my phone in my phone stand in my car, and the phone number popped up, even though my phone was locked, of my late father-in-law. And I looked at it and I thought, oh my God, like, I mean, he passed away in 2014. And so I looked at my phone and I said, wow, Papa, do you have a message for me? Like, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. And at the same time, the Hallow app popped up as I was speaking. And it was a book, a reading from the Gospel of Matthew. The apostles were asking Jesus, what's the easiest way to get into heaven? Obviously, I'm totally paraphrasing here. You know, how do we get into heaven? And Jesus pulled a child over and said, be more like a child. Be more like a child. That is just the most amazing way to just get through and into the gates of heaven. And I love that because I think that we adults, we get into this space of like doing and going and blah, blah, blah. And we forget about being, and we forget about wonder, and we forget about the magical aspect of life. So if you are overthinking and you're blocking the magic, you're in a different frequency, you're not necessarily attracting and magnetizing the best of what you want when you are in that space. It doesn't feel good anyway. So I like to talk about inner game, but I think inner game sounds ridiculously masculine. But what I'm saying with inner game is you are the boss of your mind, and you don't have to be there all the time, even though your mind is an amazing gift. Tune into soul, tune into your body. Remember the magic. Remember that there is such beauty in your breath, in your life, and simply being here. So how can you calm your mind and remember the magic? Definitely take a deep breath. Definitely commit to 5 minutes a day of absolute stillness. Just simply sit. Do nothing else but breathe. And invite that beautiful energy in. Remember who you are. You are a beautiful, amazing, eternal, infinite, amazing, I know I said amazing already, beautiful, beautiful soul. And that is the essence of who you really are. And the more I look around this 3D reality anyway, it's like we are in the Truman Show right now. Things are kind of like just sort of off the rails with our collective. And I know it has to do with Pluto and Aquarius and Neptune and Aries and Uranus and Gemini, right? Like we are in for a ride for the next several years until systems break down and rebuild, right? So there's an awful lot going on, and we have our own lives too. So be intentional about being still. Be intentional about raising your vibration, about tuning into the frequency of your soul. Build your identity around that. That is how you manifest more of what you want, because that's what you're thinking about in your conscious mind. I am abundant. I am a child of God. I am blessed. I have a beautiful life. I am healthy. I accept whatever God shows me today, whatever I need to see. I trust life. All of these big things. So when you have a moment, find one thing that gives you absolute joy and pleasure, and dedicate 5 minutes of your life, no matter how busy you are. Put on your best cashmere socks, open your journal, light a candle. Take a few minutes every day to remember you're magical, you are amazing, and you are an energy being. So everything having to do with alignment and your energy and psychology and your chakras and your frequency and your identity and what is in your conscious mind, right? In 3D, 4D, and 5D, all of it comes back to alignment with soul, with God, with your highest potential, frequency, your purpose, joy, meaning, being in service, right? That's what this is really all about. So take time, nurture yourself. Like I said, put on a beautiful pair of comfy socks and snuggle up with a cat or a dog or a book, light a candle, and remember who you are. So if this video resonated with you, I would love a subscribe. I would love a like. Definitely hit that notification bell. I will put my link to my free newsletter in the description box below with my free webinar, Recode Your Reality. And if you would like to connect to do a quantum alignment session with me, that will be there too. And I think that might be all. I feel like I had one more thing to say, but I want to leave it there. Yeah, I think that I'm good. I'm good. Have a beautiful day, evening, morning, whenever you are watching this, and I will see you all next time. Namaste.